Everyone, my name is Aakash. Welcome to my YouTube channel ExcelVBA Expert. In today's video, I have brought out some useful tips and tricks of pivot table. Here are 5 tips which I will be telling you in this video, which definitely will be very helpful for your daily task. So let's start here. 5 tips which I have already mentioned. The first one is store the pivot table layout in Excel memory, and second, disable the double click option to generate the data in the pivot table. And the third one, some shortcut key we will be using, okay, in our pivot table in order to manipulating our pivot table summary, such as order the data as per the requirement, remove the subtotal, remove the columns, remove the collapse and expand sign. And the fourth tips and tricks is create the measure in a pivot table using power pivot. All right, and the last one, we will be making some manual amendments into the pivot table option to set our report filter in the pivot table. So let's start from the first trick. They store the pivot table layout in Excel memory. So let me tell you what exactly I mean. So what happened, usually whenever it comes about to generate any kind of report, we take the help of pivot table. So let's create very basic report using pivot table. I clicked, and here I am dragging month in the rows, product in product color in columns, and product price in values. I did it. Here you can see it. Okay, the view and I mean the layout of the pivot table is not that much attractive if the person who is not away from the Excel at all, right? So he or she will not be able to analyze your report and analyze your this summary. So you have to make it bit attractive so that person, when the person is looking at your summary, okay, and looking at your summary, so he or she automatically will understand what exactly I mean, what exactly your report wants to tell them, right? So let's make it a bit attractive first. I'm right clicking on it. I'm converting this table into the classic mode, going to the pivot table option, going in display, clicking on classic pivot layout, and I'm clicking on OK, right? So here what I will be doing, I will be converting all these, I'm just making it a bit attractive. I did it like this. All right, I'm just centering, setting the alignment of it, removing the month option, right? So this report is looking much better than the previous one. Now what I want to do it, I want to save this layout in my Excel memory so that in future if I'm creating any kind of pivot table on any row data or in any Excel work and any Excel workbook, right? So my pivot table layout will rename like this. My pivot table layout will remain like this. All right, so what I will be doing, I'm going to save this layout in my Excel memory. So how we can do it, let's see. I will be going in the file option. I will be and next in more and going in option one. All right, and going in the data option. Here you can see the make changes to the default layout of a pivot table. Here I will be clicking on edit default layout. Before that, before doing it, make sure your cursor should be inside your pivot table, right? Already my cursor is inside the pivot table. Here I will be clicking on import one. Okay, at the moment I clicked on import, all the setting has been done by itself. All right, and after that I will be clicking on OK, and I will save this setting. All right, so let's, now everything is quite done. All right, now what I have to do, I just need to test it. So exactly, I mean, really, is it working or not? That's what we have to see. I'm just copying this data and creating separate Excel book by pressing Ctrl N and pasting this data here. I am just going to create the report on this data, right? Okay, in the beginning you can see my layout is coming in the classic mode, so it means it has started to work. Let's drag and drop, so drag and drop out some field, going in month, product size, product color. You guys can see everything is working quite good. Everything is working quite good. You can see the view, view layout and the column width, everything is working very fine, right? So it means such a setting will be very 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 much helpful for those people who all are not aware, okay, from the Excel settings or from the Excel features, right? So this tips and tricks you guys can tell to your colleagues, to your students, right? Okay, I mean to your student, to your colleagues, so that they can do such a setting, okay, in their Excel, so that whenever they are creating any kind of pivot table, any summary, so all, I mean, in order to making them much attractive, okay, so that time will get saved by doing this thing. All right, so the first we have done. Let's move to the disable double click option to generate the data in a pivot table. What does it mean? I have already created the pivot table here. Let me rename it first. Pivot table I have did. Right here, you guys can see if I will be clicking on grand total. If I will be clicking on grand total here, right, you guys can see the raw data actually extracted out. Okay, the raw data has been extracted out from this pivot table, okay, from the pivot table of the month of Jan. If I will be if I will be searching, okay, which month data it is, here you can see the January month data only. The January data only we have got by clicking on the grand total of this pivot table, I mean, okay, which is against the month of Jan, right? Only this data we have got in the form of raw data here. But for example, your manager told you, Akash, you have to create the one report, right? And that report should be, restricted full. It means, okay, you have created the report, but that report you are sharing with your, I mean, with someone, okay, to whom you don't want them to make any kind of amendments, right? So what actually you have to do? Okay, your manager told you like you have to put the restriction if the person is trying to fetching the data, okay, from the pivot table, so they should not be able to do so. So what I will be doing, I will be disabling the option of generating the data by double clicking on the pivot table. So I will be right clicking on it. I will be going in the pivot table option. I will go in the data option. Here you can see enable the show details. I just need to uncheck it. I will be I will be unchecking it, and I will click on OK. If now I will try to double click on it, you guys can see we can't change this report, we can't change this part of the pivot table. Alright, it means we have put the restriction, right? And after that, if definitely if that person is not away from the Excel, from the Excel or from the Excel feature, so they won't be able to enable this option, right? But yes, for the minor, I mean, this tips and tricks also will be very helpful, especially for those people who all are working in the organization, or in the team, wherein they know the, okay, to whom we are sharing the report, those people are not that much away from the Excel feature, they just want to see only the raw data. So whatever the manual, and you can you can make some manual amendments inside the pivot table, right, which only will be visible to the stakeholders, right? So this will be also very helpful for those people. Okay, so we have done the second one as well. And now the third, the some shortcut key in a pivot table, right? Order the data as per the requirement. For example, okay, for example, the data you can see here, okay, in the pivot table. But I mean month order, you can see the Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, it is coming in the sequence, which is absolutely correct. But what I want the month should start from March, April, May, then the Jan should come. Okay, this is the requirement which we have to do. Okay, so how we can do it like this? So I will be selecting the month March, April, May. I will be cutting it like this, Control X, and okay, I mean, I will go on the top, and I will be pasting it, Control V. Now you can see, okay, the order actually got changed itself, right? March, April, May, Jan. But here you want the August should be, August should reflect, okay, between the March and April. Okay, as per the requirement can be anything, right? So August I cut, and I came in the second, I came after the March, and I will paste it. Now you can see it March, August, April, May, June, July, as per the requirement. I mean, whatever and however we want to manipulate our pivot table summary, we can do it by just copying, cutting, and pasting. Simple. All right. So this we have done. And remove the subtotal. Here we do not have a subtotal. Let's create the subtotal here. Okay, I'm going in design, pivot table, and show all subtotal, for example. Okay, show the field. list. Here product size I have, remove the product size I have, product color I have, for example. Alright, and I will be ungrouping it. Now you guys can see, you can see the pivot table here, okay, where the subtotals are coming, okay, of each color, okay, which really we do not want because it is looking very ugly and people definitely will not like it. What I will be doing, I will be clicking on subtotal and I will press control minus only. Okay, at the moment I press control minus, and what the month column I will be, group it. I will be grouping it, okay, by the month and click on OK. You guys can see, right? So instead of date, now it is showing the month, right? So what we did, okay, in order to removing the subtotal, we just click control minus, okay, on the subtotal row. Simple. The subtotal definitely will get removed itself. So in that case, you do not need to go in the design option, and after that do not need to select the respective option and to disable the subtotal, okay, of your pivot table, right? So by pressing control minus, it can also be done. Okay, and the second we have done. Now the remove the columns. So what happened, we have the product colors here, right? So here I do not want to show the multi NA. I do not want to show the color of NA, multi and gray, and these three colors, blue, gray, multi and NA, we don't want to show to the stakeholder or to anyone. I will be, selecting those column which I don't want to show, which I do not want to show in the pivot table. I will be pressing control minus, simple, right? And after that, I do not want to show the white one. I will click control minus. It will get removed itself, right? I hope you guys are understanding. If you have any question, if anything, if you do not, if you have not understood, right, you may tell me in the description as well. Okay, and the remove columns we did, and remove the collapse and expand sign. You guys can see here. Okay, let me make the pivot table in that format first. Product size I did here. Alright, and product size here you can see. Let me zoom it out. Here minus sign you can see, which is, the expand, which is the expand option. Minus sign in the rough language I would say. Okay, the minus sign you are seeing. If I will click on it, it will showing the plus one. I really do not want to show it to the people. What I will be doing, I will be, clicking on it, and I will right click on it. I will go in the pivot table option. I will be going in the display. Here I show expand and collapse button. I'll uncheck it and click on OK. Here you can see it has gone. It has gone, right? It has gone, right? So this actually help us to, make our pivot table summary, okay, very attractive. So the three tips and tricks we have learned. Let's move to the create measure in the pivot table using Power. I believe this will be very helpful for everyone, I would say, when it comes about to, to show the report, okay, in the custom format, I would say. Okay, where the things are not expected by, most of the people, but exactly that exist, right? And how we can do it. Let me make the pivot table here. Alt and V T. Right here, I will be dragging month here and product price, right? So here, okay, you guys can see the product price. Let me make it like this. Okay, in the month of Jan, okay, there are product price was, okay, in the entire month the product price was 17,598. Here I want to say how many colors were, how many color words there, right? How many colors, were sold in the month of Jan, in the month of Feb, in the respective months, right? Okay, I want to show the product color, okay, in the sequence like this: red, blue, right, and gray, so on. Okay, I want to show it like this, okay, just beside the product price let me rename it just beside the product price, right? How I can do it? Here we do not have any option in the Excel. We have a option in the Excel, but we do not have a in option in the normal pivot table interface. Here you guys can see, here we cannot do anything. Here we have to take the help of power pivot. How we can do it? I hope guys you have understood what exactly I want to say. In the month of Jan, let me explain you again. In the month of Jan, right, the total product price was 17,000 something, right? So in that particular month, okay, how many colors, how many product color were there in the month of Jan? Okay, and that's what actually we have to show, okay, by using the dex, right? Using deck by using the dex in the pivot table. How we can do it? Right here, you guys, what actually have to do? Let me remove it. I will be, putting my cursor inside my pivot table. Here you have to go bit down, not a bit down, end of the drop down you have to go. Here you guys can see more table. At the moment you will be clicking on more table. Okay, do you want to create the new pivot table? Yes, I have to, because that pivot table we will be creating by Power Pivot. I I clicked on yes. Right. Okay, it is loading into the data model. Alright. Here I will group it first. Group it month. Alright. And okay. Okay. Here now I have to show what I have to show here. I have to show the product colors, right, beside the total. Okay. Here you have to click on the right. You have to right click, add measure. You just need to give your measure name. I am giving my name products color. Okay. And in the formula bar, what I have to do, I need to write one dex function which is concatenate, not concatenate x. We have to use concatenate x. Okay, here I need to select the table, and our table is range, right? Okay, and here before that we have to remove the duplicacy of of the product color, because in our raw data we have a duplicacy of product color. So for in order to removing the product color, okay, in order to removing our duplicates of color, I have to use a value function and the range. All right, and after that I have to use a range. Okay, and in the expression what columns I want to pick. I want to pick the product one. Okay, and product color I have picked here. Okay, the delimiter we have to provide by which you want to separate your color. I want to separate by comma. Now check dex formula. If let's click on it, yes, this formula has no error, right? And I will click on OK. At the moment I clicked on OK, here you guys can see one dex function has created by the name of product colors, right? And I drag it into the row, into the values, right? But here the duplicates color is still coming. Why? Let's see. I'll right click on it, edit measure, right? And I will remove everything again. Okay, in the values I have to provide the product color column, because I want to remove the duplicacy in the column of product color. Okay, and after that I have to provide the product color column, and after that I have to give the delimiter, comma, check the function, yes. Okay, simple. Now you guys can see the color, the duplicate color has been removed. You can see in the month of Jan total product price was 17,000 something, and what all color were actually included in the month of Jan, you guys can see, right? But in the month of Feb, okay, in the month of Feb, okay, there were some less color, okay, compared than the Jan month, right? So how we can do it, I have shown you, right? And it will be very helpful for I mean very helpful for a data analyst person, or to anyone, okay, whosoever are working on the advanced Excel, I mean on the advanced level, okay, of creating the pivot table, or creating the report, any kind of report. All right, let's move to the last one. Report filter filled per columns. What does it mean? So report filter filled columns, let me show you what I exactly I want to show. Okay, I have this pivot table. Okay, I have this pivot table, for example. Product size I removed. Here what I am doing is I am putting product size into the filter. All right, and I am doing product color I have dragged into the filters. Right, and after that what I will be doing, let me create some more data here. Okay, here I'm creating, for example, zone I'm creating, right? Zone creating and location I'm creating, for example, east, west, north, and south. Okay, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, right? UP, MP. So let me make the data. I just copy and value paste it. Okay, let me refresh my pivot table now. All right, here I have product color. I put here zone. I have put here location. I have dragged in the filters. All right, and the product color I have, product size I have dragged into the filters. Here you guys can see it is not looking that much code. Okay, the filter is coming, one by one, and if we want the 20 filters in our pivot table, so it will go, it will go like this one by one. So that actually will not look that much code. So what I want is, okay, at the moment, okay, the two filter we applied. Okay, let's suppose, okay, right now here are two filters, you can see zone and location, okay, on this pivot table. Okay, if I'm trying to adding the third filter, that filter should not, set, okay, in the row number of 4. It should set in the row, I mean, in beside the zone one. So I want to say basically, uh, my first filter is zone and the second filter is location. If I'm trying to putting I'm trying to putting the product color filter, okay, again I want to put the product color filter. So that product color, the product color filter should come, okay, instead of row number A4, it should come, okay, in the D1, I mean D2. Okay, and again, if I want to add any kind of filter, it should come, in D4, D3, and again so on, I mean. Okay, so what I will be doing here, I will be, okay, so basically I will be doing is, I will drag it like this. I need to just right click on it, pivot table option. I have to go in, I have to go, no, here you can see guys, report filter filled per columns, right? I just need to, instead of 0 it should be 2, because I do not want, if more than 2, okay, more than 2 filter if we are trying to putting, so it should get fixed, it should get set, okay, beside the that particular field. Okay, if I'm trying to add in product color, here you guys can see product size, here you can see, right? So it is not, overlapping the pivot table list. All right, so almost we have completed all the pivot table tips and tricks. So thank you so much. So in next video, I will be, I will be bringing some, new topics and tips and tricks and interview question. All right, so thank you so much everyone.